This is an All Ears English podcast, episode 295, How to Be Pushy Without Being Pushy in English.
Welcome to the All Ears English podcast, downloaded more than 7 million times. We believe in connection, not perfection, with your American hosts, Lindsay McMahon, the English adventurer, and Michelle Kaplan, the New York radio girl, coming to you from Boston and New York City, USA. Do you ever want to check on someone's progress in English, but not want to sound pushy when you do it? Today you'll get 6 ways to check on someone's progress in a non-pushy way in English. Guys, the best way to finally reach the advanced level in English is to get a native English teacher on Skype. You can do it now from home. Go to allearsenglish.com/ITALKI, register on that page, and you'll get $10 for free to go towards your second lesson at italki. Go to allearsenglish.com/ITALKI. Hey, Michelle, what's going on?
Hey, Lindsay. Not too much. How are you?
I am doing really well today, and I want to fill you in on a stressful and kind of awkward situation that I was in the other day. And I think some of our listeners maybe have also been in this situation. And this, we want to help our listeners move to that next level of English by making their English more nuanced, more specific, and more sophisticated, right, Michelle?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. I want to hear about it. What happened?
Yeah. So, we have a team of people helping us out at All Ears English, and we had hired a couple of people to do some voice work for us. And I wanted to know why the project was taking longer than I thought it was taking. And so I was preparing an email to check in on this person, but I thought, how can I not be too direct? How can I not be too rude? I'm sure that this is the challenge that our listeners run into when they're at work in an English-speaking workplace. And, sometimes you don't want to just say, is it ready yet? Or when will it be ready? It's too direct, right?
Right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, a lot of times this type of thing happens and you have to kind of use your words in a way to change the tone, right?
Yes, because the most important thing is we want to maintain the relationship. Although we know that here in American culture or in American business culture, we're often very direct, and often the relationship is not the first priority. But for me personally, the relationship is really important.
Right. No, I mean, that's kind of how I am too. I mean, yeah. I find that, in kind of business emails, I tend to be a little bit more indirect.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and the guy is a different generation. He's in the generation baby boomer generation, and he was talking about millennials and Generation Y, like people our age, people in our 20s and 30s. And he was saying that we have a harder time being direct. So that's another theory that we can explore in a different episode.
Okay, yeah, definitely. No, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I know that I personally do. I do have a hard time being direct because I'm afraid that the person is going to get offended or not want to work with me, and maybe that's something I need to work on, being a little more direct, honestly.
Yeah, because sometimes the truth is when you are so indirect, you end up using more words than necessary. And, we've kind of talked about this in past episodes about, like with emails and things like that, that you should keep it brief. But it's hard to keep it brief and indirect. I don't know. It's hard, but it is good to learn, how do we sound a little bit nicer when we're kind of pushing somebody along.
Yeah. And also the danger though of being indirect is that the person might not understand how important that deadline is or how important the work is, that they need, in this case, that they need to hurry up.
Right. Exactly.
And get the work done. But anyways, today, guys, we want to give you some phrases that you can use to check on someone's progress without being pushy. If we want to learn how to be pushy, we can do that another day with another episode. But for today, we want to show you how to do it in a more indirect and polite way.
Okay.
So one of the phrases that I use, Michelle, what I ended up saying in the email to this team member was just a simple, how's it going? You know, how's the work going? You know, I look forward to receiving the files.
I look forward.
I know it's so cliched. I know it's horrible, but anyways, I said, how's it going? What else could we say, Michelle, if we want to check in on someone, but we want to be a little less pushy?
Yeah. Well, you could say to them something like, any updates?
Yeah. Any updates? Great. Very open, very casual too, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, it's almost too casual, but again, it depends on the relationship. And it also depends on how much you trust that person to get the work done.
Right. Yeah. So any updates could definitely work.
Any updates? Another thing that we could say is, how are things progressing?
Yeah, definitely. Like, how are things like going forward? How's everything going? Right.
Yeah, any of those could work. How are things progressing? How's everything going? Yeah. How are things, you said, going forward? How are things moving forward? So there's a lot of things we could say. Today you're learning some super useful phrases, but if you actually want to be able to use them in your next conversation with a native speaker, you need to practice them. And to practice them, you can go right now and find yourself a native teacher online at italki. Go to allearsenglish.com/ITALKI and you'll get $10 off your second lesson with a native English teacher on italki. Go to allearsenglish.com/ITALKI. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's see. And the next one you could ask, it's a little bit different. You could say, do you need any feedback on anything?
Right. Again, we're trying to say, let's hurry up, but we're being super indirect and we're saying, you know, do you want me to check your work? Do you need any feedback? Can I help you in any way? It's still trying to move things forward.
Right. But it's definitely like, oh, well, it's like almost trying to put it on you. Like, oh, well, I can help if you know?
Yeah. Or just getting some direction, like if they have any questions.
Right.
Can you say that phrase one more time, just to check in one more time?
Sure. Do you need any feedback on anything?
Yeah, that works. Okay. And then just getting a little bit more direct with these next two phrases that we could say, talking a little bit more about time. I could say, hey, you know, what's your timeline for this project? You know, how's your timeline looking? Right?
Yeah.
So 2 different questions. What's your timeline or how's your timeline looking?
Right. And these are a little bit more direct, but it's still better than saying like, when are you going to be done?
Yeah. Well,
although, okay, reading the next one.
Oh, no. Well, actually, no, but what you just said is exactly what we're trying to avoid. You're right. And the next one is not the same. It's a little bit different.
Right.
But so guys, the phrase that we're trying to avoid, the super direct and pushy phrase is, when will you be done?
Yeah.
Or when are you going to be done?
Yeah.
It's very kind of direct and rude, and it sounds a little childish too, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So, so the other one is, I just wanted to check in. When do you think you'll be able to get that done?
Okay. So it's so interesting because we've taken a direct phrase like, when will you be done? And we've changed it slightly and we've made it more indirect. When do you think you'll be able to get that done? Right, Michelle? What did we do? What are the 2 changes we made there?
So we added, a few different things, but we added think. Right? And we added, you'll be able to, right?
Yeah. When do you think? Right? And then be able to. So using both of those kind of tricks will make the phrase more indirect. This is interesting because we're really looking at the nuances of English here because we want to help you guys maintain those relationships with your coworker because nothing could be more important than that.
Right. So, these phrases, I mean, I think that they're really, really helpful. It gets you going where you need to go and people will understand it. And you see just changing these slight words, just a few words here and there can completely change the tone. And this goes for many different things in English, right?
Absolutely. And I think the other piece that we have to mention in here, of course, is tone of voice. Right, Michelle? Because when you first said that other phrase that we're trying to avoid, the tone of voice you used was, can you say it again?
Oh, that we're trying to, okay. When are you going to be done?
Yeah. You sound really scary.
Yeah.
So the tone of voice is very different for that one compared with, oh, I just wanted to check in. When do you think you'll be able to get that done?
Right.
When do you think you'll be able to get that done? Very different from when are you going to be done?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
And then think about, if you're doing this through like email, you can't have that tone of voice, but these little words definitely help you sound a little less direct.
Absolutely. So with email, it's even more important to work on the nuances of your phrase because you don't know how it's going to be received.
Yeah, email, maybe we could do another episode on this because, how many things are like misperceived based on, lack of a tone of voice.
Oh, it's incredible. I always end up using like smiley faces and exclamation points to try to show that I'm joking or I'm light or I'm kind of having fun. And it's so complicated, isn't it? With texting, for example.
Yeah. Well, punctuation, for me, the exclamation point is like my best friend. And I will look for if people use exclamation points. I'm like, oh, they're so nice, but I don't really know. They just pressed shift and 1. I don't know.
It's incredible. We'll have to do another episode on that one, Michelle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So guys, we've given you this has been a really power-packed episode. We've given you some really fantastic ways to soften your language when you're asking about someone's progress. But just listening to this podcast is just not enough, guys. You need to practice it with a teacher. So guys, remember, we have a special deal just for you because you're a listener of All Ears English. You can get a native teacher on italki, but the way to get that native teacher in order to get the deal, the $10 off your second lesson with that native teacher is to go to allearsenglish.com/ITALKI and you need to register on that page. After you've registered there, you can go into the search bar and find yourself a native teacher. They have more than 400 native English teachers to choose from. We've had a lot of them on our show. You've met a lot of them and they're just fantastic, guys. It's amazing, Michelle, isn't it? How easy it is to find a native English teacher with the click of a mouse these days.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, and it's great because like you can use this show hand in hand with your teacher from italki.
Exactly. You can just take episode 295 and tell your teacher, hey, I want to learn this. I want to make this a part of my vocabulary. And you can bring that into the lesson. And I'm sure that your teacher would be willing to go and shape the lesson based on this or based on their own offerings, their own systems and methods. Right. So guys, go on over allearsenglish.com/ITALKI and register there. Anyways, Michelle, this has been fun. Thanks for hanging out today.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thanks so much. And good luck, guys.
All right. Take care, Michelle. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's show. And be sure to come back to our website at allearsenglish.com/resources for some awesome ideas and special offers to help you get fluent. And if you believe in connection, not perfection, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your computer or on your smartphone. See you soon.